should have seen us coming. Passing the folks along the roof just as they were standing. All the lads and lasses there, all with smiling faces, gathering along the Scotswood Road to see the bleeding races. We went to bleeding races.
Oh, it's back through Bartes!
1962 on a summer's afternoon, we took the bus from Bambras and she was heavy laden. Where we went along Collingwood Street, that's on the road to Bladen. Whoa, me lads, you should have seen us gunning, passing the folks along the road just as they were standing. All the lads and lasses there, all with smiling faces, gathering along the Scotswood Road to see the bleeding races.
What's going on, people? Welcome back to another video. John Sinclair TV back again. I'm up in Loughborough, up in Newcastle, and I'm giving to you, Tony, giving to you, Roly.
Good evening, John.
Hi, John. All right.
I'm great, lads. It's been a long while, Tony, for you, and I've only been on the couple of days ago. And yeah, so before we get Tony's breaking news, just let you know, guys, if you like the video, give it a like, subscribe, and also if you like the super chat, it's there for you. And if you'd like to become a member, it's just 99p. And also check out the Bruno Guimaraes video I've done today from Shira Spa about him winning the Fans Player of the Year. Check that one out as well. And Tony, you got some breaking, mate.
I have. Well, first of all, Newcastle have been playing in the Premier League Cup, the under-23s. Now, they were losing 2-1, but in injury time, Jay Turner-Cooks equalised to make it 2-2. And in the dying seconds of that game as well, Lewis Miley popped up and made it 3-2. So Newcastle went through on a last gasp win thanks to Lewis Miley. So they're in the next round of the Premier League Cup away to Palace by winning 3-2.
Excellent.
Fantastic.
So 2 stoppage time goals has put Newcastle through.
Miley's a youngster, isn't he?
From 2-1 down to 3-2 winners.
Miley's quite young, isn't he? He's about 16, isn't he?
Yeah, and remember, Jay Turner-Cook came from Sunderland as well.
Yeah. He obviously saw the errors of his ways.
he come to the right side. And the other breaking news is this is concerning tomorrow night's game, and it's also concerning it's the man in the middle. Now, the man in the middle tomorrow was Peter Banks. Unfortunately, Peter Banks is now unable to do the game as he's got a slight knock, and it's going to keep him sidelined for the midweek fixture. So tomorrow, we will now be blessed by John Brooks in the middle. He will be stepping in to referee the game. John Brooks is a 32-year-old referee. He was only promoted to the top flight last year after serving as a Premier League assistant ref, as well as a select Group 2 official. He's held a position since 2018, since he was 28. His appointment to St James's comes almost a year to the day since his first top flight outing in the game between Wolves and Burnley at Molineux. So far this season, he has overseen matches in the Premier League, the Championship and the Carabao Cup. 12 games in all competitions. He's issued 48 yellow cards and 1 red card. He will be assisted tomorrow by Edward Smart and Nick Greenhalgh. And his 4th official will be Scott Oldham. And please remember, there is no VAR in operation during this game tomorrow. So there you go. Late change in referee. Peter Banks out from a slight knock. And John Brooks is replacing him, who is 32-year-old.
Oh, wow. Thanks for that, Tony. That's very interesting. No failure tomorrow. So that'd be very interesting. So I don't know a lot about this referee, but we should find out tomorrow. As long as you don't get this referee who we had against Chelsea ever again, because it's appalling. So there you go. So, right, we started you, Tony, because I'm so too courageous, man. And we're going to talk about the Newcastle Bournemouth game in the Carabao Cup tomorrow. Kicks off 7:45. I'll be there live, and I'll be doing my first vlog from the stadium, so do check out that as well. And yeah, Eddie Howe has a press conference today, and he's basically saying about ASM. And he's had like an injury scare. I don't know how true is that. Is that true?
Yes, Eddie Howe has said he's got a slight strain. He'll assess it today and maybe tomorrow. It may keep him out the Bournemouth game, and may not. It just depends. He says you just got to see how these things settle. Personally, I think keep him out tomorrow's game, to be honest with you. He weren't the best on Saturday, if I'm honest, John. And to be honest with you, if we were offered the chance of having Cody Gakpo on the team in January, and somebody said there's 50 million for St. Maximum, I'd say get rid of ESM, because he goes down too easy, John. He's looking for free kicks all the time. And not being funny, that is just not what you need in a team. And if he wants to stay at the Toon, then what he needs to do, we need to get a top quality left winger in, and he needs to push St. Maximum. So ESM then needs to think, right, if I want to keep the shirt on my back, I've got to play well, because that guy sitting on that bench, if he gets in, I'll never get my place back. And that's what he's got to be rethinking, because he's too easy at the moment, because he's got Murphy and Fraser behind him, and he thinks, oh, well, that's not really competition. That was the same with Dubravka when he looked at the bench and saw Darlow on the bench. Dubravka was like that. Well, I don't really care, because I'll never lose my place, because look who's on the bench, Darlow. We need to start getting strength and depth, and I believe we will do that. But I was disappointed the way he kept going down. I mean, he didn't play too bad, but it was just he's constant going down looking for free kicks. He's going to have to start staying on his feet more. And then when he doesn't get it and the ball's loose, he gets up and gets the ball. So it's like, well, you couldn't have been that badly hurt. But yeah, I mean, he has got a slight knock, but whether he's fit or not is another thing. And also, Eddie Howe has also said that he does know why the rumours of Callum Wilson having an injury is going around, because he says, as far as I know, he's got no injuries whatsoever. He's absolutely fit and he's fine. He said Pope and Trippier asked if they could play on Saturday. They wanted to play. They didn't want to sit out the game. They wanted to play against Vallecano. And he's just going to assess the other players, the likes of Bruno, Cher, and Wilson. So, and when you think Almiron didn't play Saturday, neither did J7, they possibly played in Friday's game, which was behind the closed doors against the Smoggies Middlesbrough. So maybe they're going to play a part tomorrow as well. I think it'll be a strong team tomorrow, because we want to get to that quarterfinals. The last time we got the quarterfinals, that was under Cabbagehead, who we lost against Brentford with a very poor performance. So, but Eddie Howe won't let that happen this time. And this game's come at the right time, because like Eddie Howe says, friendlies are great for fitness. Like I've always said, they're great for fitness. But it's nice to have a competitive game before the Premier League starts next Monday against Leicester. And to have that competitive game tomorrow be absolutely brilliant. Now, let's also look at the fact Bournemouth are going to be no mugs. So we don't think we're going in this game to roll them over, because that's not a certainty. Now, whether they play a full-strength squad tomorrow is another thing, because will they want to keep their players fresh for next week, because they want to stay in the Premier League rather than win a trophy, Bournemouth, no disrespect to them. But we found out in September, I know we played poorly that day, and we got a lucky draw with that in the way we got that penalty. But other than that, we didn't look that threatening against Bournemouth. I hope it's a different game tomorrow, and I hope we go out there and absolutely beat them. But let's not forget, they won't be easy. And like I say, after this dreaded World Cup we've had, which has been an absolute pain in the backside, if I'm honest, and how Infantino can stand there and say, oh, this has been such a success, this World Cup. Well, he must be the only one, because he's the only deluded guy on the planet, because everybody else knows it's not been a success. It's been an absolute disgrace. And we've had to stop our lovely football for that crap.
Yeah, totally. I understand what you mean, man. I mean, it's just come at the wrong time. But don't get us wrong. It's been I think Toon's been fine. But at the end of the day, right, it's just come at the wrong time, mate. You know what I mean? And it's just disgraceful. I cannot have a World Cup in the middle of the season like that ever again. I don't. Because at the end of the day, right, that is down to the FIFA president. He's a disgrace, by the way. And he's going to be there until 2031 anyway. So we've got to put up with him. So I don't want him in there. But there you go. Yeah, so we go for the comments, by the way, and big up to Football Power. Let's go. And hi to Jez, everyone in the chat as well. Big up to Gary D. Will be okay. Big up to Colin, the Bournemouth fan. I hope you find me. Bring it on. The LB said, "Are you drunk?" Got Sefton in the house, even to you. I got to get on my show one day, man. And big up to Jez again. and we got one from Seth Decker shop finally done in Poland. Good for you, man. Good for you. Hope you spend lots and lots of money. Does anyone know the score behind closed doors again? 3-2, Gary. We scored 2 injury time goals, by the way. And I'm at work tomorrow, and he's unfortunately missed the game.
Well,
I'll be at the game.
Middlesbrough game, John, on Friday.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. I thought it was on today's game.
No, that was the Premier League Cup. That's, yeah. I don't know what the score was of that, John. I don't know. Nobody knows.
Wow. I don't know that at all, mate. I don't. But
no idea.
we'll probably find out. We'll probably find out in that score and let you know. And Martinez, a cheating, you know what? Is that is that Lautaro Martinez, or could it be Emi Martinez? One of the two.
Emiliano, I think he means. Does he not mean when he threw the ball and he made them go and get the ball? And France were poor on the penalties yesterday. I must admit. I mean, that one that scored against us, that Tchouameni, he put his past the post. I mean, yes, it was a good final, John, and you know, and yes, there's been some nice shocks in the tournament, but I'm sorry. We've all suffered because of this greed for a World Cup to be in the Middle East for Qatar. And it's funny, isn't it, how the final is down to Argentina and France, and that 2 top players in them teams, Mbappe and Messi, both play for PSG, who are owned by the guy who owns Behind Sports, who's from Qatar. So it's funny how they're in the final in Qatar, and both players play at the same club as their Qatari owner.
That is absolutely incredible, isn't it? Absolutely incredible. It's completely madness. All down the money at the end of the day, and everyone's a winner. But at the end of the day, I'm glad Messi lifted the trophy, guys, because I want him to do it, and it just goes to show, in my opinion, there'd be no more debate between Messi and Ronaldo. That's been proved.
Shall I tell you what the problem was in that second half, John, with Argentina, right?
Yeah.
They got too casual. And they just strolled around thinking, do you know what? We're 2 up. We've won this game. Solid. There's no way France are coming back. And it wasn't until France got that penalty and to get 2 goals in 90 seconds. But, that just shows you, John, it only takes a second to score. And even like Eddie Howe said in his press conference today, he turned around and he says, it just shows you don't rest on your laurels even at 2-0, he says, because anything can happen, he says, and we saw it yesterday. And Eddie Howe was then asked by Keith Downey, if Messi's available in January, does he want to buy him? And Eddie Howe says, don't go there, Keith. He says, I know I've said he's a great player and everything. He says, but you're not going to get me on that one. But he says, of course, any club would have him. But he says, you're not going to get me on that one.
Yeah. There's quite a lot that Tony said that I will disagree with on part. With ASM, it does go down a lot. I think he's getting better, but I thought the referee was letting him get kicked a hell of a lot. I only saw it on the stream, but he looked like he was getting kicked a hell of a lot, and the ref was letting it go. But I think his all-round game has improved this season because he's not trying to do it all on his own. He's looking for other people in better positions. He's playing the ball up. He's becoming more of a team player than he was. If the comments about if you got Gakpo and someone offers 50 million for Maxi, I wouldn't let him go, because if you do, you're still left with Jacob Murphy backing up Gakpo. You've got the same situation. You want him there, so there is the competition. The World Cup, should never have been in the middle of a season. I don't understand why people are saying, "Oh, it was the greatest World Cup final they've seen," because for 80 minutes it was like watching Argentina against the Skagsmackums. France was so poor. It's when France got those 2 goals in 90 seconds that the game came alive and it was really exciting. But up until that point, it'd been pretty bland. And I still don't understand how Messi got player of the tournament, because for the majority of the tournament, he's not been that. It's been okay, but he's not been. I don't think he's been the best player in the Argentine team squad, let alone the tournament. I'd put. I think Di Maria has had a bigger contribution into Argentina winning, and McAllister as well, than Messi. Oh, the last couple of games he played well, and he had some lovely touches, but he wasn't dictating the game like he used to. I really get annoyed watching the commentary, and there he'd get the ball and lay it off 2 yards, and the commentator goes, "Oh, what a genius Messi is!" I think, well, everybody does that, but he did have some bits where you could see the genius in him. But it's a lot of it was praising Messi for the sake of Messi. I mean, I think he won the Golden Ball because he's Messi, and he finally won a World Cup. It's like, I'm not saying that he was bad, but I don't think he was the best player in the tournament by a long shot.
I mean, you look at Mbappe yesterday, top scorer, he gets the golden boot, and he walks around with a miserable face, and it's like, yes, you haven't won the World Cup, but Jesus, you've the top scorer on the competition. At least crack a smile. But do you know what? Yeah. In some ways, I'm glad France lost it, because I'm glad the smug smell was wiped off his face after the way he laughed when Harry Kane missed that penalty.
Yeah,
I thought, I hope you don't go very far. And I'll tell you what, France were lucky to even get to that final.
Yeah,
I mean, if Kane had put that penalty away, I think we would have went on and won that game against France, and we would have probably got to that final, if I'm honest. Some ways, I'm glad we didn't get to that final, because it meant the likes of Trippier, Pope, and Wilson are available. Because if you look at the three Argentinians, you look at Martinez, you look at McAllister, the two of them, they're not going to be playing for their clubs next week. I can't see it, because they're actually on their way to Buenos Aires now, so for a victory parade and everything. So there's no way they're going to be back to play for their clubs next week. And yeah, I mean, it's a stupid time to have a World Cup, if I'm honest.
My overriding feeling of the game yesterday was, why can't both teams lose?
Yeah, it would have been nice, wouldn't it? Because, I mean, you didn't want either team to win the World Cup. But and then let's not forget, there was a third-place match on the Saturday, which Croatia won 2-1. I mean, Morocco have been a fantastic team in this tournament. I mean, I think they've been everybody's favourite. Everybody's loved watching Morocco, especially Amrabat and Hakimi. I mean, they've got some cracking players in there. Hakim Ziyech. Why Chelsea don't use him a lot more is beyond me. I really don't know what's going on there. I mean, if it wasn't because we go for younger players, I would love him in the Newcastle team, because he's full of energy, he's full of enthusiasm, full of running, but he also creates and scores goals. But obviously at 29, there's no way Newcastle's going to sign him. He's too old at there. But, you know, they've been really, really good. They've been a breath of fresh air, to be honest with you, have Morocco. And, you know, but Juth, I'm going to put this out there to you too, and obviously anybody in the chat as well. I mean, also have your say. Do you think it's time these third place games were scrapped? Because what is the point of keeping two teams there who won't go to the final to play out a silly game which you win a bronze medal for? And, you know, is it really something that should be happening? Is it just a money spinner? I mean, as a team, when you go to the semi-final, it should be, right, I'm on the plane the next morning, I'm going home. But no, you can't, because you got to stay until the Saturday to play a game. Yeah, and it must be so demoralising, because you're going to have to think, oh, I've got to now play another game. I can't even go back home. I would love to go back home, but you now got to play another game. I mean, England had it when they got in the Nations League and they lost that semi-final to Holland, when Lingard's big toe was offside, when we could have probably won that semi-final. And we played that third place playoff against Switzerland, beat them on penalties, and there was no podium or anything for that game. All the medals were shoved in a bag and given to the changing room and said, there you are, hand the medals out. I mean, that's just ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think the third and fourth place game is the game that no one wants to play in. It's bad enough when you have a summer World Cup, but having a winter World Cup in the middle of a season, you've got to play another game where you'd rather go back to your club and get ready for the season restart. Is just, I think it's a game we could do without, to be honest. I think no one's really interested in it, but it's just another game in the tournament, so they make money on it. So that's why it's there.
Guys, I have to agree with you guys, because look, let's be real, right? I mean, when you're playing semi-finals, you get beat. you're going to get demoralised, number one. Number two, you sound a bit players will sound a bit peed off, thinking, do I need to go through this? Do I need to go for the third, fourth place playoff? What's the flipping point? We lost. Mercer just go home. Do you know what I mean? It's just a complete waste of time. Just have the finals, and that is it. Do you know what I mean? It's one game that these players, these worked so hard for, don't need. Do you know what I mean? Totally have to agree with you, man. Just get out of the way, scrap the third, fourth place playoff, get out of the way, and just have done with it. It's completely an utter waste of time. Unfortunately, it's been like this for years and years and years.
Yeah.
Are FIFA going to do that? Probably not, because money spinning. That's all it is, man. That's all it is.
I mean, the thing is, John, it could have worked bad for Real Madrid, because if Modric had picked up an injury in that game, I don't think they would be very happy, would they? I mean, if he'd picked up an injury in that game and it keeps him up for the season, Real Madrid have lost a top player for the season. And I don't think they would be very happy with that, would they?
Exactly. Gradial was the centre back from Croatia, plays for Leipzig. I think they'd be a bit peed off as well. Then you've got players playing in the Premier League as well. They would have been blessed as well. Janovic as well plays for Celtic, right? He's been linked to Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Juventus as well. And it could make sense, sort of thing. Obviously, Celtic, we've got to lose him if that is the case. He had a fantastic World Cup right back, if you know what I mean. But you're right. I mean, what you just mentioned, Modric. What if he had a bad injury out at the end of the season? That's one game that you don't flipping need. Simple as that. Well said, guys.
It is stupid, John. I mean, when you think when we were in that Nations League semi-final, John, that was played 3 days after Liverpool and Tottenham playing the Champions League final. I mean, that was ridiculous.
It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And FIFA's got this all wrong. Do you know what I mean? Again, it's all about money. That's all it is. They don't care. As long as they get their fix, that's all they care about. You are right. They need to look into it next season.
Yeah, sorry, John. Also, before we go into Newcastle, obviously, but
yeah.
Messi didn't look very impressed yesterday when that robe was put on him, did he? I mean, absolutely disgusting. I mean, he looked at that and he just looked and thought, well, what's this going on for? I mean, what was all that about, John? Was that just Qatar trying to look really good? I mean, I don't get it, John. I really don't. And
it's a bit like trying to put a negligee on. It's a bit like those sheer things that women put over their negligee. It's really weird.
Yeah, there's a picture going around with Sports Direct, and I shared it in the group last night. But there's a picture, Sports Direct. You can buy these 90s for $22.99. It's a joke, by the way, but yeah.
No. Well,
but somebody took the out of that. Mind saying that would be the type of thing Mike Ashley would do, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
he probably would. And I tell you what, people don't take no notice unless you're a Newcastle fan. But people says tradition. People saying there's no need for it. Over the top. I think Messi, if I'm honest with you, I sort of feel like must be thinking, why don't I just collect the trophy and just get out of there? Do you know what I mean? And not put on the stupid Chango TT. Do you know what I mean? But it's a tough one, really. But for me, I would have just gone as it always has been. But that's how Qatar is, guys. And it's a touchy one. But for me personally, I think she got on with it. There's still got some comments here as well. Do hit the likes, people. Hit that subscribe button. Also, super chat if you want to super chat and want to become a member. It's just 99p. I should have said hi to Toon and Colin. Good evening to Win. Yes, thanks to the earlier comments as well. Win on the Rulo Gamash's comments. Big up to Chess again. Evening Jordi. Just got a good point as well. Just missed it on there. 3-1 up. Remember you said it was 2-0 up. Dangerous game. We were 3-1 up. Thought we did it and came back to 3s each, so made us nervous when we play against Man City. What do we suggest? We sell our loan out in January. We're going to talk about it in a bit, man. I'll just go through this as well. We are going to come back. Evening both. Congratulations on hitting 4K. Thank you, Gal. Thank you so much indeed. I really enjoy that. Thank you. And I really appreciate that, man. And I've got another 20-odd subscribers that's in 2 days. Good evening, both. Congrats on 4K. Thank you, Gareth. Argentina were given 5 pence 7 games. Chris, that's very, very true. Thank you, Sefton. I appreciate that, mate, on before here. I'm over the moon that this World Cup is all that and done with the lads. That's from Gary G. Thank you, Gary. Big up to the Claude lad. I hope you're okay, mate. the third place team ought to get a pass into the next World Cup to make it competitive. That's a good shout, really. But are FIFA going to look into that? Probably not.
Well,
but I see it.
They won't do that because the champions don't qualify automatically. It's only the hosts now. Because it used to be the champions would qualify, but they stopped that 3 or 4 World Cups ago. So even the champions have to qualify. So they're not going to give an automatic pass to the third place team if the champions don't qualify.
You know what I think was wrong in this World Cup as well? I mean, we used to see it in past World Cups. Well, this is the first World Cup they've done it, but they've extended the groups this time because to 32 teams. But what it used to be is, when it was the old way, you used to have the 3 best third place teams, or the 4 best third place teams used to go through to the knockout stage. But this World Cup, it was only the top 2 from each group because that's the way they did it. And I mean, I just think should go back to the old way and let the third place teams. I mean, if you finish third, and yeah, okay, you may finish third, but you might have a great goal difference, and you may think, oh, I have missed out by like 1 point or something like that. I mean, I know it's down to that, but it's always been the tradition. They've just changed it for this World Cup, and I just think it's wrong to change it. They should have kept it the way it was. And I know Roly's going to say he's not happy about that, but it's like people say about the playoffs, it's unfair in the championship. Well, hang on. Why is it unfair in the championship? Because the beginning of a season, all these teams that are in the championship, League One, League Two, they all know at the end of the season, if they don't go up automatically, they'll be in the playoffs. And when you get a team that's finished 6th in the playoffs and they win it and go through, then see the fans from the third place team and the managers from the third place team. Well, it's not fair this. We should go up. It should be top 3 up automatically. Well, no, because at the beginning of the season, you know the rules.
Yeah,
if your team's not good enough to get that top 2 and get automatically promoted, it's a lottery being in that playoffs. And if you don't get out them playoffs to finishing third, that's your own fault.
We had that when I think it's the first season the playoffs happened. We had that. We got knocked out by the Mackhams, and who were 6th. They ended up getting promoted.
That was after, because I'll tell you why. Because Swindon beat them, and then Swindon couldn't go up because of some financial irregularities, so Sunderland went up instead.
Yeah,
that's what that was all about.
But with regard to it's when you're saying the third place team should go through as well, you're looking at fewer groups and have the third place come in, or if you've got fewer groups and the third place go in, that's so fine. But the way they worked it out, it's just worked out because you've got more groups, top 2, and you do tend to get the best 2 teams going through. And I think in the last few World Cups, the football outside the group stage has been really good. Right, they've got more groups, but the teams that normally don't qualify haven't deserved to go through. So it's I don't have a problem with top 2.
I mean,
and it's going to be even worse because they're expanding the World Cup for the next one. There's going to be more teams playing, so it's going to be
very interesting.
I mean, to be fair,
that's very interesting.
You see, what I would like to see is, I mean, when it was back to the 80s, when these playoffs first came out, it used to be the team who were third bottom in the first division at the time, which is now obviously the Premier League, used to be in the playoff against the 3 teams in the playoffs and the Championship.
Yeah, that's when they were changing the what was the League One from 22 to 20 teams. So they had.
I think it would make it more interesting now if they started that again. So if the said, right, okay, so if you finish third bottom in the Premier League, you've got to go into the playoffs against the 3 teams from the Championship. So
that'd make it more exciting, yeah.
And that would make it a lot more exciting. So you might say for instance, let's say Huddersfield finished 5th in the Championship and Everton finished third bottom. They'd have to play Everton. And if Everton lose that game, they're relegated. So, it's a 2-legged affair. I mean, I think it'd just make it more interesting. Do you, John?
Yeah. I've got to kind of agree, Tony. I mean, you look at the Bundesliga, who would finish as 3rd, will have to play a team now third bottom of the Bundesliga 1. And if you played in La Liga, if you finish in third bottom, then you've got to play a team from 3rd in Segunda Division. So it makes it interesting, makes it exciting as well. But let's be real. I mean, rules are rules, and you know before you even kick off. So, will that bring it in? You just never know. It could happen one day. You just never know, guys. But
do it in the SPL, John. The second bottom team, they're going to play off against the championship side. So, I think it just makes it more exciting.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I think that should be the way to go, sort of thing. You know what I mean? So it gives the lower clubs a go. Look at Arbroath. I mean, they were winning, and then if they held on, they would win the SPL in the first time in history, sort of thing. So look, end of the day, it is what it is. But I'm sure one year it may come. You just never know.
Yeah.
I don't even know these. Jess, who just spoke about it, mate. I mean, look, at the end of the day, for me personally, I think it should be scrapped, in my opinion. So we've discussed that. But good question. Thank you, yeah, and Croatia won. Thanks, Kit Kat, from me 4K. Where can I watch the game? It's impossible to watch the big game tomorrow, mate. There's none being shown at this stage. And that was a goal draw. Yes, it was, Ches. And yeah, I see as you mean, man. The Rob's given it's a bish, is a rabbi stand respect. It signifies greatness. That's in Kit Kat. The third for place is like losing £50 note, and then someone gives you 5 to make you feel better. Oh, that is a brilliant comment. That's a brilliant comment there.
I like that one. Nice one, Centurion. Like it.
I like it, Chris. I like it. Love it. Yeah, just chatting to Kit Kat. What's up with that? Anderson didn't feature in the last 2 games. I don't know what's happened to the game.
He did. He played against Al Hilal. And he may have played in that behind the closed doors against Middlesbrough. So he didn't feature Saturday, but he definitely played against Al Hilal because he came on as a substitute. So he came on as a sub there, and he did very well, to be fair. And then
I think
he wasn't on the bench Saturday. So I think he played Friday against Middlesbrough, maybe in that behind the closed doors game.
I think he was carrying a knock because he wasn't in the squad against Chelsea before we broke for the World Cup. But he did play against Al Hilal.
And also, one important thing Eddie Howe did say as well, the players now at the training ground have got a nice place for eating now because it's been renovated because we're doing the add-ons to it as well, the work there. He says the dining area has been finished now and the players have got somewhere proper to eat now.
That's good.
That's really good. We are moving forward club now, sort of thing. And look, we are a proper football club, guys. So there you go. We're at this comments before we go straight on to the game. Tanji, first, second, first, you automatically qualify for the next World Cup. That makes sense. Hi, John. Hi, like coffee. Hi to you, mate. He's a brilliant player in mind. Yeah, indeed. We talk about Messi there. The lower leagues have to have playoffs, keeps those mid-table teams playing well as they have something to aim for and adds a lot of revenue. Exactly. I see John Santa's costumes. That's not mine. That is Jules.
It's a cushion, isn't it, John? It's a cushion, isn't it?
It's a Christmas bag. Santa bag. So that's a Santa bag.
That's a Santa bag. It's got your Santa sack. Oh, John, Santa sack.
The sack. The sack.
It's got your
Eddie Howe
presents
will
in,
not be Nah, not mine. Not mine. Wish it was so. I mean, Eddie Howe will not get the sack. Will not be sacked.
No, I didn't say Eddie Howe would get the Santa sack. Who will get the Santa sack, I wonder?
Oh, there'll be a few of them around, let me tell you. It's going to be a few. You never know. Bottom feed go down, top feed go up, then fourth bottom plays the fourth top of that division below. So 4 down and 4 up every season, every division. That's in Tangi. That's a good shout, by the way. That's
It'll never happen, though.
I've started a debate here, haven't I, John?
Yeah.
It'll never happen because
it's going to come.
for one thing, the top flight, even when it was the first division, only had 3 down. They've never had 4. And it's normally been from what was the championship. After the championship, it was the sort of League 1, League 2, where they had 4 up and 4 down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's never been. It's been the top 2 divisions been 3 up, 3 down. Then League 1, it's been 3 up, 4 down, and League 2, it's been 4 up. And it's now 2 down, but we've never had 4 down from the top flight.
Yeah, I mean League 2, their relegation used to only be the bottom one, but now it's the bottom 2 now.
I mean, it used to be where the team would apply for re-election. They didn't have a relegation from what was then the 4th division. You had to, if you were bottom, you could reapply, and they normally let you back in. That's eventually they decided to have. It's like that's how Rochdale stayed in the league for so long, because they always applied for re-election. Then initially it was 1 up, and then they've expanded it to 2.
How the National League, with the conference where Gateshead are, it's how they do their playoffs, which is so weird because you've got I think there's six teams playing that, and
Isn't
5 teams. Sorry, I think it's 5 teams. One of them play a playoff match, and then whoever wins that then goes into a semi-final, and eventually go to a final. It's it's about 3 games they're playing to get to a final.
Isn't there one where it's ranked where the team that finished highest basically gets straight into the semi-final, and then the others play off to play them?
Yeah,
something like
that's right. Yeah, that's how it is. Yeah,
which in a way it isn't a bad idea, because especially they played so hard, they got 3rd. Well, they should have some preferential treatment because they've done better in the league.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Go on, mate. Go on.
Yeah, but it's a means of sorting out how to get the other team promoted. Everyone will have different ideas, and there are lots of different ways that they can do it. I think the ones they've got now aren't too bad. So, I mean, I think there's a comment saying that half the reason for getting the playoffs in is so that in the sort of championship and leagues below, it keeps the mid-table teams interested right up to the end of the season, because they've still got a chance of going up.
Yeah. Look at the championship. The championship is just so brutal, man. If you win a game, you go from 3rd bottom up to flipping 10th. Do you know what I mean? But hey, that's so exciting, that league. Go on, Tony.
It's a horrible.
Just one quick thing. Going back to the World Cup in Argentina's manager Scaloni. Now, I don't know if a lot of people know this in the chat, but he's never had any experience before as a manager. And this guy, a few years ago, was only coaching kids and youth teams in Spain. And when Argentina were in a bit of disarray, all he'd done, he threw his hat in the ring. He said, look, he says, I've got no managerial experience, but I would love to be the manager who would come in here and help reunite this team and get this team back on track. And do you know what? That's brilliant. So it just shows you don't need experience to be a manager and to be a top-class manager, because I'll tell you now, this guy will be a manager in Europe one day soon. Whether it will be this year or next year, I'm not sure. But the thing is, though, this guy, as I say, has never been a manager. And Southgate should have had the balls to quit, because I'm sorry, there's no way we're winning Euro 2024 under Southgate. And the FA, don't be bloody stupid. Let his contract run out and let's get rid. The only way we'll win Euro 2024 is if Gareth Southgate takes his finger out of his arse and starts picking players on form. The likes of Luke Shaw need to really get out of the way of England, because they're useless, they're rubbish. Harry Maguire, okay, fair enough, he does have a good time for England, but sorry, he's not the answer. He's got to go as well. You need an overhaul of that team. Mason Mount, waste of space in that squad. He's useless. Don't know how they see that he's got a talent. We've got so much talent in this country, and if it's utilised properly and Southgate uses it to the full potential, we can go on and win things. I mean, this talent of players plays in the Premier League, which is probably the most intense league in the world. So if we're that good in the Premier League, how the hell aren't we doing it on the international stage? There's something going wrong, and it's seriously going wrong, because Southgate is not picking players on form, as he said when he come in to be manager. So the only way we can go win Euro 24 is if Southgate takes a finger out of his backside and starts picking players on form. And I mean the likes of Callum Wilson, So he needs to stop doing that. And the thing is, let's see how much it changes when we start off, I think, against Italy in the qualifiers. And if we start off and he has a refresh of the team I mean, we've got a good base as a team. We've got Saka, we've got Foden, we've got Rashford there. You know, Wilson. I mean, I know Wilson won't have much longer, but we've got Wilson. I mean, there's Trippier there. I mean, you've got Dan Burn. He would have done better at left back than Luke Shaw. Trippier would have done better than Luke Shaw at left back against France as well. So, you know, so Southgate's got to sort it out, and he needs to sort it out now. Southgate and needs to. I hope now he has a long, hard think and thinks, right, I need to start picking players on form, because there's plenty of players in that Premier League who don't even get a look in.
The only problem with saying you're going to pick players on form is that if you do that, you're likely to have a different squad every time you pick them. You've got to have a nucleus that you can build around. Right, he's got that with the young players that have played in the tournament. Some of the older players need to be moved out and some of the younger players brought in. But you've got to have a nucleus of players that you've worked with a lot of time and you trust. And then it's the sort of like fringe players that you can pick on form. But you can't pick the whole squad on form, because you'll be changing it depending on when the next international break is. Because players can...
I agree with that, Roly. But the thing is, though, the problem with Southgate is he refuses to take the handbrake off and let these players play with freedom. If we were playing free-flowing attacking football, if England went out there and played free-flowing attacking football with the talent we've got in that squad, and if Southgate just took the bloody handbrake off, we would be winning a lot more games. And the likes of France, we would be rolling them over. I'm sorry, but we would be. And
I don't particularly disagree with that.
And that's the problem. Southgate will not release the handbrake, and it's about time he did, because if he watches what Eddie Howe's doing at Newcastle, he's been to 3 of our games this season, he should see what and think, do you know what? If you watch when Wilson came on for England, the first thing Wilson done, he was in Eddie Howe mode. Boom, straight in, pressing players. Yeah. Press. That's what Wilson kept doing. And that's how we got the ball back.
I think that the other thing with Southgate is that he coached the under-21s. I think he's just a sort of reserved person, and he's won tournaments at a lower level playing this style. I think the problem, not so much with Callum Wilson, but the problem when you don't normally play a pressing game is that you get one player pressing and no one else does, so it's easy to play around. They need to play as a team, pressing like we do. Because at the moment, up until the break, once we actually got rolling, no one could cope with a high press.
That's the problem. That's the problem. We need to press, and that's what we need. But Gareth Southgate ain't going to do that. He's too considerate. He's too cautious. He's too, you know. The
other thing is that the non-Newcastle players in the squad aren't used to the press. So you've got to have a certain level of picture. And it's a difficult one. I mean, when you look at the results that he's had over the tournaments he's been in charge of, as a quarter-final, semi-final, final, and quarter-final, that's not bad going. Right, we're disappointed we haven't done better because of the players that we've got. But it's almost like, well, we know we're going to get to the quarters. Now, how can we move forward to get on and win a tournament? Yeah, I mean, a lot of the players that you mentioned we shouldn't have should go. I agree with. I don't think Luke Shaw's been very good. No. But you're looking, I think it's Chilwell who plays left back.
Yeah, he's injured.
He was injured, so we lost him because we would have played him over. I
was trying to play Kel Walker-Peters over bloody Luke Shaw.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I understand that, but the person that you would think would normally play there was injured, so that's not Southgate's fault. But he should have picked someone better. Exactly. Maguire, again, I agree with you. He's not been playing well, but he's very rarely lets England down, which is why he still gets his place. I agree with you. Mason Mount was poor. Yeah. It's like in the France game. Why did they bring him on and not Maddison?
Well, the only decent thing he done, he won the penalty for England, didn't he? Because he got nudged. Well, he didn't get nudged. He got barged down, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah,
but in some ways, I'm glad Maddison didn't play because that keeps his
Guys
value
can't
down.
go up.
Because if he'd come on and had a cracking game, his value would have gone up.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I mean,
That's why
you want to move on to the Bournemouth game, John. But the thing is, though, McAllister, who plays for Brighton, and I know he calls himself McAllister because obviously his dad's Scottish. But I tell you now, there's going to be a lot of clubs wanting him, John, because he's had a terrific tournament for Argentina. He looks absolutely brilliant. And his price is going to be probably way more than Casido's is going to be, if I'm honest, John. If Casido's worth 70 million, this guy's got to be worth 80 plus.
Yeah, he was.
And I'll tell you who I'd love to see in black and white stripes. Even Shearer said last night, Enzo Fernandez.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean
Enzo Fernandez all day long.
You see those two players and Di Maria, I think have had better tournaments than Messi. Yet he gets the golden ball. It's all because he's Messi.
He's Messi, isn't he? He's Messi.
Yeah, that doesn't mean you can't criticise him when he's not playing well.
He made a Messi of France, all right, didn't he?
He did, didn't he? He did. You said you got to go to the 6:15. You're going to stay home for a little bit. You change your mind.
I can stay for another few minutes, John, and I'll have to go, mate. Yeah,
no problem. We go straight to the comments quickly, and then we go straight to Saturday's game because I want to get that quickly sort of thing because Toy's got a dash around. It's Gary around about where you can Nottingham Forest one of the lucky ones that finished third went on to the playoffs. Yes, what for you to go down? I read that by the way, and. Yeah, we read that as well, mate. Read that. I read a few, didn't I? Read that. Coaching badges are just a red tip for more money for the FA. I remember when Glenn Roder didn't have his coaching badges, and they were a big debate on whether he could manage the Toon, and he did have. He did okay. Yeah. He got us into total the following season. It
was a UEFA Cup he got us into.
Yeah, no, into total. He created a mess. Well, he created a mess. Nah, pity. He's done well. He got us to the quarterfinals, didn't he? But just didn't.
He played Krull as well, didn't he?
Yeah. He blooded Tim Krull, and what a career he had at Newcastle.
Yes, absolutely brilliant keeper. By the way, in this time, I'm with Tony Bruce for England. No, and
no, I don't want Bruce. No.
Even Southgate picks the players on form, he won't play them. I agree. So journalists saying Southgate was more brief this tournament compared to last and will definitely be more brief in the next tournament. I hope that is the case. I just need to put a pressure on French players to mind the immediate horrible. If I was pressing caused problems for fans, he had a good game yesterday. I really thought he had a great game yesterday, Alvarez. Still also wasting the tournament. Messi can come to the Toon and win the Premier League trophy. Just saying that ain't going to happen anytime soon. He do a good job in the Premier League, but I just cannot see him come to the Premier League. I think in the quality of the Prem, I would say England probably have the best pool of quality to choose from in Europe. Just wish Wales had a bigger pool to choose from. That's in Gav. He's a Welshman. And good luck on you, Gav, on your adventures as well, mate. And yeah, just on the tomorrow's game, Newcastle Bournemouth. I mean, you've got a fan who's going to pick. Who do you think will start tomorrow, Tony, in your opinion?
I'm not sure, John. It's a difficult one. I definitely think Almiron, Joe Linton, Wilson, Botman, possibly Share, if he's fit. I think he is fit anyway, because he was one of them three Switzerland players who shouldn't have played against Portugal, if I'm honest, because him, Shaqiri and Xhaka had breathing problems from the air conditioning in the stadiums. And the Switzerland manager still played them, even though they weren't very well. Maybe that's contributed why Cher had such a bad game. But yeah, I would imagine Cher and Botman will be in that starting lineup along with maybe Trippier. I don't know what's happening with Dan Burn. I don't know if he's got a knock because he didn't play Saturday, unless again he played in that game on Friday. So I would say Dan Burton, left back, maybe Target. And then I would say either Karius or Pope to be in goal tomorrow. Maybe Karius may get the nod. And then if he does go to penalties, bring Pope on just before the end of the game to get him in ready for the penalty shootout. On the wings, I would say, like I say, Almiron will come in, I reckon. I think Bruno might even play, or he might be on the bench, depending. Left, if if ESM isn't fit, then I think it'll be down to Murphy or Fraser who gets that nod, and I think it'll probably be Murphy over Fraser. So yeah, that's what I think anyway. It's a funny one. We'll have to wait till 7:15 tomorrow to see the team sheets, and I suppose we can all speculate, but we'll just have to wait and see on that one, John.
Okay, and what about you, Roly?
I think that the players that he played behind closed doors will be prominent in the team. So I think they'll play Karius in goal. I think it could be Byrne and Shah at centre half. I think they'd have Trippier starting and maybe Target at left back. If he plays Bruno, obviously it'll be Bruno in the middle. And then you'll have J7. And I think Joe Willock will start as well because he keeps going. And then it'll be ASM, Wilson, and Miggy. I think it's going to play quite a strong side.
Yeah. I'll have to agree with you.
Who knows? There's one thing Eddie's really good at is keeping people guessing what his team's going to be.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. So we've got a big squad now. So everyone's really kept on their tours for me. I would not be surprised if Lascelles play tomorrow. I hope it's not the case. I think Lascelles are coming tomorrow, I think, in my opinion. I think Karius will start. I think Miggy will play. I think, like Tony said, Botman Share may play. And hope Trippier starts as well. Hopefully get Pope on the last few minutes for penalties and that. But we need to buy a winger as well, guys, because honestly, man, if ASM's injured again, we've got Jacob Murphy currently playing there. We need a left-sided midfielder. There's one player who will not be coming, and that's Kafat Sheila. He will not be coming to Newcastle United. There's just absolutely no chance whatsoever. 50 million ain't enough. They be looking at about 100 million euros. That's about 85 million quid. There's absolutely no way that he's going to come to Newcastle or any other club soon. My understanding is, according to Football Italia, right, he's got no release clause in Napoli and already said to be working on a new and improved deal to lock him down even further. So he'll be staying at Napoli and he will not be moving at all, guys. So just go over these few comments as well. Yeah, the match tomorrow, John. I'm indeed Dan. Check us out for that. I'll be doing a vlog as well. When could we expect to see that back? That's a tough one.
Who knows?
Well, Eddie did say today, Eddie Howe did say that he'll probably not be ready for this game. We're not sure when he'll be back. But the thing is, right, what strikes me, John, is when he got injured in the training with the Swedes back in September,
yeah,
it was down as a thigh injury. Now, if it's a thigh strain, that normally keeps you out for 3 to 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Thigh strain don't go on this long. So the club's never said what the injury is or time frames or anything. They did say he would be back after the World Cup, but they didn't say when after the World Cup. Quite clearly, he's still not ready yet. What on earth is this injury that he has picked up? Nobody knows. It seems to be a mystery. I mean, obviously, the club don't have to tell us what the injury is. They don't have to disclose it. It could be the fact Eddie Howe could be playing mind games. It could be he keeps him out tomorrow, but it keeps Leicester getting next Monday, and he could automatically play next Monday. So, so the things are there. So we just have to wait and see. But at the moment, there's no return date for Isak at the moment. But hopefully we'll see him soon, because Eddie Howe says he wants to make sure he gets him back to the top condition so that we do see the player that he is. So maybe Eddie's taking his time to get him fit, and he wants him in peak condition so that he can go out there and hit the ground running and play a huge run of games as well for us. So we shall wait and see on that one. I've got to go, John.
No problem, mate.
But I'm going to say 2-0 tomorrow to Newcastle.
Okay.
I think we'll win it in 90 minutes because we won't want to go to penalties again.
Definitely not. We need to beat Bournemouth as well. So, yeah, let's see what happens tomorrow in that game. 2-0, Tony's saying. And I'm hoping to be back on to, probably a Wednesday for the match review show. So, listen, Tony, get yourself away, man, and have a good evening. And so we get a win tomorrow. And thanks for coming on. It's been a while. And looking good. And tell us where you go. Tell us where you can find you, please, Tony.
yeah, so you can find me on Twitter at TonyToony31. Follow me then, I'll follow you back. And you can also follow me on It's All Black and White TV, which is on behind me, on the board behind me. Check out my channel. I'm now 23 subscribers away from 200. If I got that by the end of this year, that would be absolutely fantastic, considering I've only been going for 2 months. But if I don't, it's fair enough. But yeah, I've gained a few more today, so I'm up to 177. And if I can get to 200 by the end of the year, that would be a magnificent achievement. But yeah, do check it out. There's plenty of footage on there for you to look at, content. And I had Junior Turnaround. It was a fantastic guest. It was 2 hours long, but I'll tell you what, great guy. And he's going to be back on again. And he's also let me use his content for my new intro as well. So Banks of the River Tyne is my new intro now. So if you haven't checked my channel out, go and check it out and listen to the intro. It's absolutely fantastic.
Thank you, fantastic. Do check out the stream as well. It's fantastic. And Tony's absolutely brilliant as well. And Tony, thank you so much for coming on, mate. And I hope to catch you on, if not tomorrow, probably on Wednesday. I'm not sure I'm going to do the warm-up show tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to have time, but I'm sure you're doing it tomorrow, the warm-up show, yeah?
I'll do some sort of show tomorrow, John, yeah, because again, I might have to pop out. But yeah, and just want to say to Dan, thank you very much. Dan Hawley says he's subbed to my channel. So yeah, lovely. Thank you very much, mate, for that. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Fantastic. Totally. Go and enjoy your evening, mate. And I shall speak to you on Wednesday. Watch what you're doing.
Yep. Au revoir.
Cheers.
Au revoir. Ciao. Take care. That's Tony. Brilliant Tony is. Absolutely fantastic. Do check out his channel, by the way. He's a great, great guy. And I'll go for this conference. We get your predictions tomorrow as well. Yes, I'm at the match tomorrow, Dan. Where can you expect to see that back? We've gone through that. Vinny Jr. bringing to the Toon. That's no chance of that. That ain't going to happen. Not even going there. I think 3-1 to Newcastle, even though we've got some player suits. That's a win. And 5-0 to Newcastle. And it's Dan sub to Tony's channel. What's your prediction tomorrow, Roly?
2-0 Newcastle.
Straight in there.
I don't know who's going to score because I don't know, because it could be a very, almost anyone could play. But I think we'll win 2-0.
Yeah.
If Miggy plays, he'll get one. I got a feeling he'll start with Chris Wood. So let him get a penalty.
Big up. Fingers crossed on that one. So we'll do it. 3-0 to Sefton. That's John, the guy at TikTok. Yes, I think I recognise it. Damn, yes, because I'll send you a clip, didn't I, sort of thing, whatever sort of thing. But big up to you, Dan, and thank you for subscribing as well, mate. And I appreciate that. Thank you, mate. I'm going to go 2-0 to Newcastle as well, and I have to go with Rain as well. So this one's got a few players out as well, and so we get the 3 points as well. So also just before we wrap up as well, Bruno Guimaraes, he is the new fans player of the year. And what's your take on that one? Well deserved. 110%.
Yeah. I think since he's been at Newcastle, he's probably been the best player in the Premier League.
Absolutely, man. I'll tell you what, 100%. So do check out Bruno Guimaraes, Fans Player of the Year. Check his content out. I posted it out today. And on the background, it's like a Football Manager background as well. I thought I was going to get a copyright claim. I didn't. Thank God for that. And I'll get him paid for that as well. So, listen, thanks for coming on, Roly. And before we wrap up, where can you find you on the socials, mate?
It's on Twitter at Pols67.
Brilliant stuff. Brilliant. So, it comes on my channel. It goes on Tony's channel as well. And yeah, so check us out as well. Just a little bit of news as well, like I said earlier, about Kifat Sheila for Napoli. That move will not be happening at all whatsoever. So let's not go there. And they made it clear he's going over. They're going to offer him a new contract as well. So guys, if you like the video, like what you see on my channel, then give it a like, hit the subscribe button as well. And if you like the super chats, just click on the $sign. And if you'd like to become a member, it's 99p. And I met a few guys from Lowfell yesterday as well in the pub called the Vic. And thank you very much for meeting us there as well, which is absolutely fantastic. And next I'll go there, definitely go out for a drink as well. So thank you very much indeed, chats. And I'll be back on either tomorrow or definitely on Wednesday for the match reaction show. And we're having the backstage Roly and one for Wayne as well. Well deserved. Bruno be the best player of the Premier League along with Kieran Trippier. Absolutely right. And Biggie, Chris Ward, 2 goals. Murphy ASM to get the goals. I like coffee. Thanks for that indeed. So, guys, thanks for watching us. I hope you enjoy the game tomorrow. I'll be at the match. And if you see us, if you want an autograph, I'll be happy to do that. Until then, it's a goodbye.